What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 87, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today's episode will be my Week 6 wide receiver tier rankings, top 32. Before we head into it, guys, make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that subscription. Turn that bell on. I will be live all weekend, Thursday to Monday, with different content creators on my show, stuff like that. We'll be going over everything, covering the entire NFL. If you guys cannot make any of the live shows, always drop any questions you have down in the comments. Does not have to pertain to this video. My goal is to answer every single question as a content creator, try to help you guys win your weekly matchups and get you that ultimate goal of a championship, guys. And if you want to check out any of my work previously done today, I have my running backs, quarterback rankings, top 10 defense and kicker rankings, and waiver wire for tonight. So you guys want to check that out as well. All the support's been greatly appreciated, guys. I can't thank you enough. And let's dive into my wide receivers, guys. So if you guys are new to the channel, here is my wide receiver board heading into week 6 here. You're going to see the ballers tier. These are the smash guys. Do not even think about putting anyone else in your lineup but them. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5. At the bottom here, you will see the wide receivers on a bye. So Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison isn't up there. Tyreek, Waddle, the Chiefs, and you're not going to keep any of them in your roster. Obviously, get them out. Then over here to the left, you're going to see the injuries that were in my top 30. So Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. Good news is looking like Cooper Kupp is back week 7, so next week. Can't wait to put him back in my lineup. Devontae Adams, we don't even know what's going on here. We don't know if he's going to be traded or play with the Raiders, so I don't know what to do with him right now just because we don't have an update yet. So I'm leaving him at the bottom here as well. Obviously, if he's out there playing, he's a top 15 wide receiver every time. Nico Collins with the week-to-week hamstring, and Puka Nacua looks like week 9 or week 10 for his return. Now, heading into my number 1, guys, back-to-back weeks, absolutely smashed this. You guys keep questioning me why I put Jamar Chase number 1. It's Jamar Chase no matter what, man. To quote Disco, shout out to Big Drive Energy. This man is out of this world right now. Just dropped 40-plus on the Baltimore Ravens, and the connection is here weekly, man. It's going to be the Jamar Chase show for the rest of the season. Their defense cannot stop anyone, guys. All they do is pass. Literally, it's like they just pass. It's absolutely bonkers. Now you get the New York Giants this week. And man, the New York Giants kind of shut down DK, which was interesting last week. I think it was just one of those weird, like, aberration games. But they ranked 15th versus the wide receiver, giving up 32.6 points per game. They ranked 17th in the red zone, and they give up 132 yards to the wide receiver position. So this is a very exploitable matchup here for Jamar Chase, and I absolutely love it. And this is a must-win for the Bengals. Number 2 is going to be the angry, mouth-lipping CD Lamb. Even though they won the game, he gets the Detroit Lions. This is the pot of gold right here for CD Lamb. This should be absolute smash. Every prop, everything he has, DFS. The Detroit Lions rank 31st versus the wide receiver, giving up 45.8 points per game. They give up 218.2 yards. But the weird part is they're ranked 12th in the red zone. So they stingy up in the red zone and only allow 4.8 per game there at the wide receiver position. This is going to be an all-out CD Lamb game here. He's going to absolutely feast. The Detroit Lions give up so many yards to the air. Their strength is the run D, not the pass D. Number 3, the superstar rookie is back in action. Malik Neighbors off the concussion, week 3, heading home versus Cincinnati Bengals this week. And if you just watched the shootout with the Ravens, I think the New York Giants, man, I was out on Danny Dimes, and he's proven me wrong. I have to take the L there. And the Cincinnati Bengals pass D ranks 19th, giving up 33.2. They rank 13th in the red zone. They give up 150 yards to the wide receiver position a game. And Malik Neighbors is a target monster, guys. He is going to absolutely feast in this game. I cannot wait to see it. Now, I'm going to jump down here because I talked about Jamar Chase, and I should have just done, so I'm going to do the wide receivers with him. I should have done T. Higgins with him at the same time because they're playing the same thing. So I don't want to go over the same matchup twice. So I have T. Higgins currently at wide receiver 17, guys. Again, playing the New York Giants. Again, they rank 15th versus the pass, and they give up 132 yards. And T. Higgins just ate last week. You could see him. He was even mad at the play calls at the end in overtime, so he's going to come out with a vengeance. And T. Higgins is going to be a 100% low-end wide receiver 1 start here in this game. Back to the top now. Number 4, DJ Moore. Everyone was like, get out on the Bears. Shane Waldron, I still think he's still think their coaching staff is very, very bad in Chicago, but their schedule is too good, guys. You should be buying DeAndre Swift. You should be buying DJ Moore, buying Keenan Allen. Their schedule is pure gold the rest of the way. And it showed literally last week when DJ Moore dropped 2 teeters, got 2 touchdowns from Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had a good game, looked finally good in the pocket, but again, it's kind of a get-right game whenever you play the Carolina Panthers for any team. So, I mean, I'm not really excited there, but I'm excited about the schedule ahead. So, they get Jacksonville, worst pass D. They get Washington, the worst yards per game to the pass D. Arizona, one of the bottom pass Ds. New England, Green Bay, Minnesota, all these look like playoff teams. Detroit, but they are very bad versus the pass. The schedule ahead here for the Chicago Bears is absolute gold for the wide receivers and something you should be targeting in fantasy football. Number 5, the sun god Amon-Ra St. Brown, fresh off the bye right now. The Detroit Lions are coming in this week. They get to go to Jerry's World at Dallas. And I know if you look at Sunday Night Football and Justin Fields and George Pickens, nothing really happened in the passing game until late in the game. But that's an Arthur Smith ran offense that I cannot stand watching, period. Like, I just don't even want to hear it. I don't even know why they signed the guy, to be honest. But the Cowboys are beat up defensively. This is going to be a high-scoring shootout game that I want every piece of. I want Amon-Ra. I want Jahmyr Gibbs. I want David Montgomery, Laporta, Jared Goff. I want both sides, Dak, CD. This is going to be one of those games going to be fun to watch, and a lot of points going to be flying. Number 6 is going to be my favorite wide receiver to target at a fantasy football draft this season. It is going to be Jaden Reed. And my wife is going nuts. Hang on. I'm going to put him at number 6 this week. Last week, he was supposed to smash, and he didn't really smash. He kind of 80 yards, no touchdown. He usually finds the end zone. He's averaged 30 points per game with Jordan Love before this. So now you get the Arizona Cardinals, and the Arizona Cardinals are ranked 17th versus the wide receiver, giving up 32.8, but they rank 25th in the red zone, where Jaden Reed has a nose for the end zone. So there's a possibility for a huge touchdown upside and 155.2 yards to the wide receiver position. Heading down to tier 1, A.J. Brown off the injury, back off the bye, going to be back for week 6, gets the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns, if you watch any of my other videos, I was like, their defense is going to be number 1. Their defense is still good. Their offense is just atrocious. And the offense keeps the defense out on the field. So when I'm looking at these numbers, they're even skewed to me. Like, the Browns rank 18th versus the pass, give up 33 points. They rank 23rd in the red zone, so high touchdown upside there as well, and 140 yards to the wide receiver position. And they're keeping these numbers intact, being on the field all the time. So if they get any kind of production from Deshaun Watson or Jameis Winston, God forbid, please put him in at this point to save this offense. It would really help out this defense because they're out there all the time just grinding. Number 8, Declan DK Metcalf, coming off a bad game versus the New York Giants. I thought he was going to smash last week. He did not, but still put up a decent amount, 50 yards, not bad, nothing great there. Now this week goes up against San Francisco on a short week, and the 49ers, guys, their strength is the pass game, but there's a little caveat here. So the 49ers rank 10th, give up 29 points. They rank 6th in the red zone, and they only give up 144 yards to the wide receiver position. But Hufanga is out for a month now. Hufanga is the deep ball threat, ball hawk safety. I know this is a 49er. DK will be able to beat us over the top. Jair Brown is just not the same as Hufanga. And it could be a big game for DK here in a division game. Number 9 is going to be Drake London. And what did I tell you guys, man? I told you the Atlanta Falcons are coming. They're going to start clicking. They had a crazy start to the season with 5 playoff games that were absolutely nuts. And now Kirk Cousins has found his rhythm, 500 yards. And Drake London gets the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina Panthers, guys, is like your pot of gold for fantasy football. And it's just unbelievable. So here's their numbers right now. 35.9 points per game, which ranks 23rd, 20th in the red zone, and 147.2 yards per game to the wide receiver position. So this is going to be a full-blown Drake London, Kyle Pitts big game here coming. Wide receiver number 10 is going to be Chris Olave. Now, this is going to look a little different here because we now know that Derek Carr is out. But the matchup here is just too good for me. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers ranked 27th, giving up 40.3. They ranked 22nd in the red zone versus the wide receiver. High touchdown upside in the red zone. They give up 176 yards to the wide receiver position. Now, I know you're either going to have Jake Haener or you're going to have Spencer Rattler, which could help Chris Olave because most of the balls are going to Rashid Shaheed with Derek Carr anyways, and he's looking for deep bombs that aren't really there. So it's going to be a different looking offense, but the opportunities are going to be here. And I like Chris Olave for a big bounce back this week against a team that is very, very susceptible to being beat by the wide receiver. Number 11 is going to be Chris Godwin. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers get the New Orleans Saints. And why do I have Chris Godwin above Mike Evans? Well, let's talk about it here. So I'm going to pull up Mike Evans. I'm also going to pull up Rashid Shaheed because we talked about the Saints. I forgot about it. I have Shaheed at wide receiver 30. I think he's going to be the most impacted by Derek Carr being gone, and it's really going to hurt him. But for the Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, so you get the New Orleans Saints, right? And the New Orleans Saints, you saw against the Chiefs, Monday Night Football. You saw the red zone. They lock up the red zone 100%. Why? Because they have Marcus Lattimore, who's a lights out in the red zone corner that has owned Mike Evans for years. I mean, this battle between them two, he has dominated. So I think it's going to be more of a Chris Godwin game out of the slot this game than I do Mike Evans. Now, the Saints rank 16th. They give up 32.7, but here you go. In the red zone, they rank 5th. They are very stingy in the red zone versus the wide receiver. They give up 169 yards to position. And I like Chris Godwin over Mike Evans this week. Heading in to number 12 on the week. He's back. He's back. He's back. Brandon Ayuk. We're going to talk about them both. Debo Samuel. I have Ayuk at 12 and Debo at 14, guys. The 49ers get the Seattle Seahawks their strength. Now, remember, if you guys are returning to my channel, remember what I said. The Seahawks were frauds, man. They had 3 easy games. They played Bo Nix, they played Jacoby Brissett, and they played Skylar Thompson. Look what happens when they played teams outside of those teams that are bad. I guess the Broncos have won 3 games. You can say they're good. I still don't find them as anything, fraud contenders for them too. But they struggle. It's a totally different ball game when the Seahawks play a good team. It's going to be a short week. They just got throttled by the Giants and Danny Dimes without Malik Neighbors. The 49ers are pissed off a dumb loss to the Cardinals, which should have won if Moody didn't get hurt. I was at the game. It was painful. And now you get to look at the numbers here. So Seattle ranks 11th, giving up 29.2. That's a fraudulent number because they had 3 weeks of freedom. That's what I was trying to say all year long. 15th in the red zone, and they give up 116 yards to the wide receiver position, but they have not played a juggernaut like the 49ers offense. It is going to be a different beast out there for this defense. And I know they're still at home. They get the 12th man. It's a division game. I get all that. I just never bought into the Seahawks 3-0 hype at the beginning of the season. Coming in at number 15, Marvin Harrison Jr., the guy that put my 49ers away with a 3rd down catch last Sunday. Man, it was painful. And he still didn't have a big game. The 49ers pass D is very good, so he kind of struggled there. But, I mean, in this matchup now, I'm looking at here, you get Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers, this should be a smash play for Marvin, but you're going to get Jair too. So you're looking at a 25th ranked defense versus the wide receiver, getting 37.6 points per game. In the red zone, they're 28th, so very high touchdown upside for Marvin in the red zone. And they give up 165 yards to the wide receiver. But these are all not the ones, right? And Marvin Harrison is the one. So it could be more of a struggle game here for Marvin. That's why I have him ranked a little lower this week. Number 16. This is a big one, dude. Nico Collins, like I said, is out. So I have Stephon Diggs now in my top 16 wide receivers. I'm also going to pull up Tank Dell. I have him at 29. The Houston Texans this week get the New England Patriots. And the only thing I'm afraid of here in this game is the game going to stay close with Drake May at quarterback, right? Because if the Buffalo Bills get up like 21-3, you probably see less volume for Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell in this game. Could be more of Joe Mixon or Damian Pierce or Cam Akers or whoever's out there. But that's the only worrisome thing I have because it's a plus matchup across the board. The New England Patriots are 21st versus the wide receivers, 33.7 points a game. They are good in the red zone. They're number 11, so they're almost a top 10 team in the red zone. They give up 165 yards to the position. But again, they're going to have a rookie quarterback going up against that Texans front. Drake May's in for a nightmare, man. It's going to be really, really tough. I would have saved him at least one game before I threw him out in this game. But like I've been saying all year long, we're tired of seeing Jacoby Brissett either way. I mean, he's terrible. So the future starts now, baby. Drake May time is here. So moving on to last guy in tier 2 here, Terry McLaurin. The fire is lit in Washington. The Commanders are for real. They are 4-1. Jaden Daniels is a league winner. This is why I had Jaden Daniels ranked above Caleb Williams all year long. Dynasty every draft. And it's coming to fruition, man. He is unbelievable. The Washington Commanders this week are going to get the Baltimore Ravens. Now, when you see that name, you think of top defenses because the past. The Ravens' strength, they ate 48 yards against the run. You cannot run against the Ravens, but what do they give up? Passing yards. The Ravens ranked 28th, 44 points per game to the wide receiver position, 8.3 in the red zone. They ranked 26th, and they give up 193.6 yards to the wide receiver alone and 300 plus passing yards a game. Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson, this is going to be fireworks. This is going to be Terry McLaurin must start action right here. I absolutely love this play this week. Heading out of tier 3, number 1, God save the queen, man. Amari Cooper is open. He's running the most utilized air yards in fantasy football. He's seeing 10 plus targets a game and doing nothing with it because Deshaun Watson is absolute trash. It's time to put Jameis Winston in. I'm still going to put him as a top 20 wide receiver. I have him right now at 19, and the matchup looks great. The Philadelphia Eagles give up 44.5 points to the wide receiver position. They are coming off a bye. They will be healthier. They rank 32nd in the red zone, giving up the most points to the wide receiver position in the red zone. And they give up 180 yards to the wide receiver position alone. That's fourth worst. This should be a smash Amari game. It just depends on Deshaun Watson, and I can't watch anymore, man. It's so terrible. It's trade Amari. Get him out of there, man. Number 20, my smash play last week that I said was wide receiver 3 or 4 overall. I forget. I got a lot of comments questioning about Garrett Wilson, and look what happened, man. Look at the target volume. Look at the matchup. That's what you have to do in fantasy football, and this is a bad matchup here for Garrett Wilson this week. You get the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have been lights out versus the wide receiver 1. They rank 5th. They only give up 24.8 points a game. They rank 8th in the red zone, and they give up 114 yards to the wide receiver position. And now you got a new head coach or whoever's coming into the Jets now. Robert Saleh got fired today. Nathaniel Hackett looks like he's on the hot seat as well. So I don't know how it's going to look for the Jets, but man, I've loved Garrett Wilson all year long, and it's been rough, but I knew he was going to pop last week. That was an absolute smash hit. Number 21, fresh off the bye, fresh off the concussion, he's back, Devonta Smith. And you get the Cleveland Browns. I talked about it with A.J. Brown, kind of. We'll touch over it again here. The Cleveland Browns defense is on the field so much that it's just opportunity is there. They rank 18th versus the pass, 23rd in the red zone, 140 yards. Devonta Smith, always a wide receiver 2 start. Always, I love the Slim Reaper every time he's out there. Number 22 is going to be Zay Flowers, and he's kind of is a roller coaster ride, right? Like, the Ravens are such a weird offense lately, it's hard to judge. So Zay Flowers, pops off his first 2 games, right, with targets galore, then becomes a ghost, and then sees 12 targets and 100 plus yards. So, and the matchup versus the Commanders, that was kind of versus the Bengals, that was kind of given. The Bengals passed these very bad. And now you get Washington. Washington Commanders D ranks 26th versus the wide receiver, 40.2 points per game. They're ranked 31st in the red zone, but Zay's not really a red zone guy unless it's a gadget play. So there is high touchdown upside there for Zay, but I don't really love it in the red zone. They give 158 yards to the wide receiver position alone. This should be another smash Zay week here in a shootout game. But, I mean, I would rank him in the top 15 if it wasn't just a roller coaster ride. I don't know, if he's going to pop into the 15 targets or if he's going to go back to a little 3.4-point game. I need to see some consistency out of him, but I still have him as my wide receiver 22. Wide receiver 23, man. Arthur Smith is killing this guy. George Pickens is so talented, and he wasn't even part of the game plan at all on Sunday Night Football. I saw a bunch of tweets and Coach Speak Index. If you don't follow them, it's great Twitter to follow them. And he's like, oh, well, we just didn't use him because we didn't need him part of the game plan. You lost the game. Your stellar defense lost the game. Justin Fields made the right plays at the end, and George Pickens was not involved at all to the last play of the game with like a Hail Mary little 8-yard pass. Like, he did nothing. It was absolutely atrocious. Now this week, you're going to get George Pickens, and he's going to be going up in a matchup that should favor him again. Like, this is not a bad matchup for him at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders pass defense currently is in the middle, so they rank 13, 31.7, but they just lost their big DT out for the year. Wilkins is done. That's a massive hit. They paid him a ton of money. Devontae Adams once out. The locker room is absolute shambles. Antonio Pierce can't figure out a run game. They can't figure out who's the quarterback. This all signs point to a smash George Pickens game, but it's like a Zay Flowers thing here. I don't know. And it's a scary start for me still until you get a little consistency or get something going with him. So I'm going to leave him at wide receiver 23. Heading down to tier 4, we're going to talk about both these at the same time. So I have Calvin Ridley as my 24th wide receiver, and I have D-Hop as my 32nd. And this matchup, guys, it doesn't get any better than this. The Indianapolis Colts rank 24th, give up 37.2 points. They're ranked 27th in the red zone, so high touchdown upside for either one of these guys if they're in the red zone. 180 yards to the wide receiver position. That is bottom 5 in the NFL. I mean, they can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Now, why I have D-Hop so high is because D-Hop hasn't even played over 50% of the snaps on the season. Coming off that injury, he's older. Now you have the bye week. Now you get another D-Hop opportunity here with trade rumors swirling everywhere. Could be a focal point of straight focus D-Hop here, and let's target him galore and get him some trade value or something. Could be a play there as well. If D-Hop's on your waiver wire, please go get this, man. I mean, that shouldn't be there unless you're playing like a Pokemon League that's not competitive at all. But it could be. I could flip-flop these in my mind. I feel like it's going to be D-Hop over Ridley. But again, D-Hop hasn't played the snap yet, so I just can't do it. But I think they're going to feature him for a trade target role, and I really like D-Hop this week a lot, and a very, very plus matchup. Same thing here with Calvin Ridley and D-Hop. You get Keenan Allen. So just like DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen was playing 60% of snaps off his injury. Last week played 80%. He's older. We all know this. Now you get the matchup of a lifetime. You get the Jacksonville Jaguars. 32nd against the wide receiver position. Dead last. 46.5 points per game to the position. In the red zone, they're a little better. They rank 18th. 210 yards a game to the wide receiver position. That is second worst in the NFL behind the Detroit Lions. Give 218 to the wide receiver position. So this is a smash. That's why I have DJ Moore so high. I already talked about it. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. I don't like Rome Odunze with the target share with these guys out there. I just can't do it. Heading to my next guy in tier 4 here is going to be Deontay Johnson. And Deontay Johnson, what I said last week, must sit the guy. You're going to see 2 20-point games in a row. And you're going to be like, oh my God, Deontay Johnson's on fire. I need to start him again. You have to look at the matchup, guys. He played the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, Jalen Johnson is lights out. They stop the pass at will. They give up the run. This is why Deontay Johnson was a must-sit for me and an absolute smash. Now, this week, you get the Atlanta Falcons. And I don't love the matchup, although it's going to look good on paper. So if you're looking at your, Yahoo or Sleeper or whatever you use, it's going to show that they're green. But they're green because they played 5 playoff teams in a row. That defense has been battle-tested. Now they're going to get the Carolina Panthers, Andy Dalton. This is going to be a different game here for the Falcons defense finally. And I think they're going to run him out the building. And I mean, he could see garbage catches, but I really don't love Deontay Johnson this week. You have Simmons, Bates up top, the 2 best safeties, AJ Terrell shadowing all over. It could be a tough game for Deontay Johnson again. Now, my smash start from last week, Brian Thomas Jr. Man, is this guy not for real? Tell me. I've been trying to tell you guys to trade for him all year long. I hope you're listening. He absolutely popped. This is the week right here. Remember this moment. The Chicago Bears, like I said, bench Deontay Johnson. This is going to be a tough week for BTJ this week, but this is where you pounce on the bye after this week. So say he scores 7 to 8 points for Chicago Bears defense right here, 6 points. The owner's going to be frustrated. Go pounce a package to trade for him after this because it's just going to get better and better and better. This is just a very, very tough matchup. The Chicago Bears are number 7 versus the wide receiver. They're number 1 versus the wide receiver 1. They give up 25.8 points per game. They're number 1 in the red zone, and they only give up 135 yards to the position. So remember those numbers, and don't just be like, look at last week and see that he popped off and want to play him again. That's not how it works in fantasy. That's how rookies in fantasy think. I hate to say that, but it's true. So he's going to have a tough game this week. This is where you buy low. I mean, if he finds the end zone, he finds the end zone, but the matchup is just very, very tough for me. Coming to the end of tier 4 here, Michael Pittman Jr. It doesn't get any worse than this. I don't even care if Flacco's out there throwing him 15 targets. You're going up against the Tennessee Titans defense off a bye. No. Tennessee Titans are number 1 versus the pass, number 1 in wide receiver points, 20.3 points per game. In the red zone, they've given up 0.2 points. That ranks 3rd, so there's a couple teams at 0 still. And here it is, guys. They're number 1 in yards per game. They're only allowed 95.8 to the wide receiver position. This is why Ladarius Sneed's going to be out there on Pittman. This is why I said Garrett Wilson when he played Snead. He's one of the most locked down corners. If you watched all last year with the Chiefs, it's going to be a tough game for Pittman out there this week. I do not love it at all. Now, heading out to tier 5, we talked about Tank Dell. We talked about Rashid Shaheed. Last but not least here, Jameson Williams. If you guys follow my content, have been back to the channel, I know he can pop one. He's like a Xavier Worthy. They're boomer bust. And Rashid Shaheed, and actually Rashid Shaheed was seeing a little more volume than boomer bust. But JMO and Xavier Worthy still are to me. If you like to play, the boomer bust game and you have injuries or bye weeks happening, I'm okay with playing JMO. Just for me, I don't like boomer bust players. I like to, when they boom, then I like to sell them. But you get the Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, like I said, shootout game, just like Amon-Ra. I should have talked about them both at the same time. But this is going to be a high-scoring affair. JMO could definitely pop one. But it's like if JMO doesn't pop one, he's like a 3-point guy, 4-point guy. So that's always the tough part for me with JMO. And then D-Hop rounds out the end of my 32. That is the end of episode 87, everybody. My wide receiver ranking tier list for week 6. Remember, there's 4 teams on a bye. Before we head out of here, guys, make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that subscription button. Turn that bell on. It helps me out a ton, guys, the more than you would know. And if you guys have any comments, anything you can't make any of my live streams as well, always drop them in the comments. I try to get to every single one of them. That is one of my goals as a content creator this year, is to get to every single question to help you guys win your weekly matchups and get you that ultimate goal of the championship, guys. And if you want to check out my quarterback, running back, defense, kicker, top 10s, my waiver wire, all that is out. My next video and my last video of tonight will be my tight end rankings coming up next, guys. And I can't thank you guys enough for all the support. I'll catch you in the next video, man. SleezBall out.